Good morning to you, Jimmy. Great to see you this morning. How's everything going? How's your morning been today?
Yeah, all good, David. Yeah, been up since 2, so sort of been up for a while now.
2 o'clock?
Yeah.
You must get a kip in during the day.
We'll get an hour.
Because you don't go to country tracks at all. I look for you all the time.
I've gone to Northam a fair bit this year.
The city class performer. I've been talking you through this. Jim's a city class performer, does his best work in town. Nothing wrong with that, Jim. That's where the bucks are.
No, I've been at Northam a couple of times. We went for the Northam Sprint this year, and lucky I got a good foreman in Aristo that's likes taking them up on all the other smaller days.
Fair enough too. Now, we've just been talking about this market for the Crown Perth Winterbottom Stakes. Heading with Barakey, undefeated. Talk us through the latest. How is he?
Really good. Just worked good then. Just come up the last 600 in 36.5, and Jason said was going really easy, so no, all good with him.
Just before we keep going about Barakey, Lucky Gray is on the track as we speak. Just at the moment cantering around. Did you happen to get a look at him this morning, Jimmy, at all?
Walked past Gino's stalls. He always a nice, relaxed horse. Lucky Gray, and sort of didn't actually see him out of the stall.
Gee, you mentioned the time that Barakey ran. We were watching here, and they didn't really look to be pushed, so they were travelling over the ground then.
Had a lot up their sleeve. I know Trevor Andrews timed him for me, and then he timed his own, and his went a fraction quicker than Barakey, but they were sort of pushed out. So, no, did it very well.
All right, Barakey, how much pressure's on you, Jim, going into this race, the Crown Perth Winterbottom Stakes? He's undefeated. There's obviously a degree of pressure there to keep that record intact.
I'm starting to know how Peter Moody feels, getting around the 20 wins. So, obviously going for 11 in a row. Big race, need luck. Pressure will be building on Saturday, but that's what good horses do.
Jim, you've always had a really big opinion of the horse, and it's been warranted. Obviously, he's got this far without being defeated. So just quickly looking at Lucky Gray, stretching out nicely in the concluding stages, the top weight for the Carlton Draft Railway Stakes. Jimmy, what's it like, this horse? We know that you've had a lot of good ones in the past. I think probably the best yardstick is a horse like Haylist. Where's Barakey at heading into Saturday comparison to a horse like Haylist when you had him at his top?
Very similar. There wouldn't be much difference in ability. The only thing with Haylist, he had very tender feet, and he was always going to get better when he got on softer tracks. So obviously when he went to Melbourne and Sydney, they have so much more rain and weather and that over there. The tracks are a fair bit softer, so that's the big advantage Haylist had. But this horse is very comparable.
How much heavier was Haylist to Barakey?
About 70 kilos. Yeah, no, a lot more. There's sort of, you've got to look after their legs too a lot more when they're that heavy. Barakey's 530 now. Haylist was always around 600.
530 now. If we go back to this time last year, there was a lot of talk about going to the Winterbottom, and I know that was probably the furthest thing from your mind. Maturity-wise, in the space of 12 months, have you seen a noticeable difference with Barakey?
Actually, I had him a bit heavier, but because he's had a couple little leg issues, I've lightened him off a bit this time. When he was spelling, he sort of wasn't on real heavy feed. I didn't want him as heavy, so he was about 550 6 months ago, and I've just lightened him off a bit, which, it's just better for his legs.
Just talk us through those leg issues, Jimmy.
He had a small spur in his offside knee, and he had a slight checked ligament, which Murdoch have been very good. Kathy Klein and Murdoch have been very good, and given us the all clear now. About 3 months ago, he had the full 100% health check.
Waratahs Secret also engaged in the Winterbottom. He's a 40-1 chance. That's big odds about a horse that we know is more than capable. There was a question mark over him until his first up effort. You would have been very, very happy with what you saw.
Yeah, he'd had a few issues with a wind operation and a bit of lung disease, and we just sort of give him 3 very easy trials to get his confidence back. And then when we got in the race, I said to Stephen Parnham, when you come around the corner, get into him, because I said he's had it easy and he switched on. So I think that he would have got a lot of benefit out of that run, and I think 40-1 is a good price for him.
What did Stephen Parnham say following the race?
Really hit the line good. He said another 20 metres he would have run second. He said he really come up the hill very good. So it was good seeing him join Barakey, at the 18, so obviously looking for a little bit further.
And a big effort, considering he had to carry, 61.5 on that occasion?
Yeah, he had the 61, so no, a very good effort. So, yeah, I don't think he'll be far away.
It's all a bit different for him this year. This time last year, of course, he was in the railway and received a severe check in that race. Are you looking to step him up over anything further this time in, Jimmy?
If he comes through this race well, we'll probably go to the scale next start and probably take on the railway horses. But if he's on the way up, he'd be very competitive against those horses.
How's he been since that first up run?
Yeah, really done well. Yeah, really thrived. Very happy with him.
Jimmy, just back to Barakey, 10 zip. You talked about knowing what Peter Moody feels like with a long winning streak going into a big race. How are you going to feel if the bubble bursts?
Oh, it's got to shortly. This is the hardest test he's ever been, and yeah, you've got to have luck. Like if things go wrong in a race, they're going to get beaten. So normal. If we don't get bad luck, he'll be very competitive.
Very hard to pinpoint dangers in a race of this magnitude, Jim. It's a Group 1, so we know there's no slouches engaged. But from your point of view, if you could take one home and prepare, who would it be?
I'm starting to get a bit towards Travanator. Like, it's trained in the state. The Pierces of Daniel's done a very good job with it, just brought it through its classes. It might be 12 months away, but it just might be the horse on the way up that could be the danger. Speaking
of 12 months away, the rating system, this is one of the reasons we didn't see Barakey in the race last year. He's at that point now whereby you're happy to let him go.
Yeah, well, when they win, you keep giving them confidence. And he jumped into the race last year. He may have won, he may have not, against a good seasoned mare like Hortensia. There's nothing like taking your time and giving them confidence. Keep winning. The longer they can win, the more confidence they get. So, I think he's at the right stage to tackle these horses.
Is he wound up? Have you got him exactly where you want him for Saturday?
I think he is. I think this is third up. This is what we planned a fair way out, and this is as good as I can get him.
Do you bring him back to the track this week, or he just stays at home?
No, I'll probably come back Thursday just to do a bit of evens, but won't do a lot.
Regardless of what happens on Saturday, Jim, what do you do with Barakey from here?
We're hoping we win, and if he wins, his future might be more on the East Coast, apart from the carnivals here. So, if we come through and win, we might go Melbourne in the autumn.
He'll be pulling up stumps after Saturday by the likely for this prep.
Yeah, no, that's all that's around for him. So this looks, Saturday's the finale, this preparation.
When you say Melbourne, obviously big races over there, the Oakley Plate, the Newmarket. Down the straight 6 at Flemington, how do you think he'd go?
Yeah, well, our track at home is a straight, it's 600 metres, and that's what they do all their galloping at home, is on a straight track. They don't go around a bend, so I don't think, that'd hurt him.
Mm. Jimmy, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Obviously, I'm a massive fan of the horse. It's only stretched out to the 1,200 metres on one occasion. On that instance, won by a couple of lengths, defeating Answers Are. The way he's been winning, 1,200 looks ideal. Yeah,
I think so, but I wouldn't. In the future, I think he could go to 14. He sort of does relax. I think if we took the blinkers off him, he'd go 2,000. He's so relaxed without them. He worked without him this morning, and he just doesn't pull. He does whatever you want him to. But when you put the blinkers on him, he sort of wants to ride along. But without blinkers, I think he could go a fair bit further.
This day and age, Jim, we talk about increasing distances all the time with horses, but there's generally no need.
The only reason you increase distance is if they're not winning, but when they're winning, you just stick to what they're winning at. But, obviously, if they're not winning and they're running home, you just keep going. They get a little bit easier as they get longer. So while they're winning at the short ones, just stick there.
Jimmy, what barrier would you be hoping for in the Winterbottom?
1.
Gate 1, inside of Travanator.
Yeah, 1 would do me.
Draw the cherry. From you saying that, there's no way from 1 you want to be getting cluttered up. So ideally, you'd like to find the top and roll.
Oh, yeah, he would. From there he'd be. But, that's tonight. We'll find that out and just hope we have a bit of luck there.
Now, what about if Barakey drew 2, Waratahs Secret 1? That'd be acceptable?
That'd probably be all right. I think Waratah could be able to ease him behind him.
Take the trail.
And if Waratahs draws outside of Barakey, you can sit in the breeze, Waratahs, and Barakey and Waratahs can control it from there.
Yeah, no, I think Waratah wouldn't be sort of so forward the way he raced the other day. I'd say Travanator and a few of those Eastern Staters would be up there.
How's Jason Brown going through all this?
I don't know, you'll have to ask him.
No pressure?
Oh, obviously, when you've got on a winning streak, there's always a bit of pressure.
He's going to be a very popular favourite going into this race on Saturday, Jimmy. And we've seen it, I guess, with, over the years, some great horses. Hortensia was the favourite last year, and a lot of punters were on. It was a massive roar when she found the line. I think it'll be fever pitch by the time the race kicks off on Saturday. If he's able to get home, you can expect the grandstand to have almost the roof rip off it, because he's a very popular horse here locally. There's going to be a lot of punters with their money on. It's going to be a pretty special result for you if you can win the race. Coming back to scale, I think you'll almost need to put some sort of headgear on to keep your ears functioning, because I reckon there'll be a massive roar.
Yeah, well, it would be exciting and good for racing, like when horses can sort of keep winning. It's sort of, as Black Caviar's done, she's been just great for Australian racing and probably world racing, so I hope we can continue it.
Jimmy, you're a good student of form. You haven't got a runner in the railway. What do you like?
I like Lucky Grey, but I think Ranger's just got in very good on the weight side. I'd probably say Ranger will be very hard to beat. It's just, it's got under the handicapper's guard, I think.
8 kilo turnaround.
Yeah, no, phenomenal. It went over east, and all the horses that went over playing guide, Lucky Grey, Waratahs Secret didn't drop any points. While it was over there and running close up, it dropped 4 points, and I think it's in the race to win it.
Jim, Terry and Aristo, the owners of Barakey, it's been an absolute thrill for them, but it doesn't just end there. They've had a magnificent run over the past 12 months.
Yeah, their horses, they've got 3 5-year-olds, Barakey, New Time and Mavramata, and apparently in the last 18 months they've won nearly 600,000, so it's not bad for a couple people. The Aristo come out, couldn't talk English from Greece at 18 and been self-taught and, going all right.
He was magnificent to watch following Barakey's last start victory in the yard. It was just a delight. You love the enthusiasm and the euphoria that is associated with a winner, and you could see there was a little bit of relief there for him, but the way that he celebrated, similarly Eddie Rigg on the weekend, and that's what racing's all about.
Yeah, well, especially for Aristo, he works with us every day, so a lot of hard work goes in, so the excitement of them winning is probably even better.
One of the major fancies for the railway going through his paces at the moment, Fat Al, looks to have come across in reasonable order and doing his work at the moment, nice and gentle on the way around the track this morning. Jimmy, also you talk of Aristos and the owners. There's been some pretty big numbers thrown at Barakey along the way, and they've maintained along the way they're here to race the horse. They don't want to sell him and watch someone else have the fun. It's great to have loyal owners. Yeah,
they've been offered some good money, but Terry's retired. He sold his business a couple of years ago for good money, and they're not really in it for the money. They're in it to the enjoyment of the horses.
It's great to hear, because in recent times so many of Australia's most promising gallopers have been sold off overseas, and we haven't necessarily had the chance to see them go around. And here in WA in particular, I think we're always chasing the next star. We've had some great gallopers over the last decade, to the likes of Haylist and Miss Andretti and Scenic Blast, but to have a horse like Barakey that's stayed here and we've been able to see him all the way through, it's been great for racing here in the West. Yeah, no, it's always good, and it just suits me if they don't sell it. Whatever happens, it sounds like he's going to be heading to the East Coast, and that's the next challenge for the horse after this weekend, obviously. Black Caviar touted to be having just the one more preparation. We saw this spring, there wasn't one particular sprinter that put his hand up and said, I'm going to be the heir apparent to her crown. For you to be thinking you're going over there, obviously you're hopeful that Barakey will be the one that does put his hand up and go there. Yeah, well, if you go on Haylist is probably the second best sprinter in the world, and I think we're pretty comparable to him. So, hopefully we can do the job. How would you feel if you spoilt the party and knocked off Black Caviar? Oh, that'd be awful. Yeah, no, I'd hate to do that.
You had some runners on the weekend, Jimmy. That'll do. Led them up and battled away.
Run a good race. I didn't intend on starting it, and it had a 1,000-metre trial on the Monday, and Jason come back and said, it never got out of first gear, and I thought, it's had an easy trial. and so I'll start it. But in hindsight, it ran 59 seconds quicker than the open class horses, and I think he was a little bit flat. So I think you'll find in 2 weeks you'll find a fresher horse, and I think it'll be better all for
Still
it.
a very good effort, but because he looked as though, say, the 150 that they had his measure, but he fought back very well.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be a very good horse, and that's probably what he did. He was a bit tired. They sort of collared him on the corner, and just being a good horse, he fought back, but he'll improve a lot.
New Time was another one that ran on, so it just went up in class, but was competitive again.
Yeah, it went up 2.5 kilos. He's only a smaller light horse, and he seems to go really well with a lightweight. He only got beaten about 2 lengths, but he's got a funny habit after the line. As soon as you stop riding him, he pulls up, and in the call, I think Darren called him second last, but he only finished just over 2 lengths from the winner, and it wasn't a bad run for him.
Jimmy, at this early stage, who else will we be nominating for Saturday to team up? Have you got any other runners that will be going around in some of the minor events?
No, these are the only 2 I've got this week.
We saw Reset Gold run second to Turkle. It's looking for the right race, Reset Gold. It looks to be getting very close to a win.
Yeah, I was nearly going to put her in the Jungle Mist, but I think it'll be too short, the 1200, so I'll wait to the Jungle Dawn 1400, a little bit fresh, and that'll be suitable for her, I'd say.
Jimmy, your 2-year-olds that you've got at the moment, we've seen a couple of them step out already. It's probably a bit early in the season to know exactly how you stack up against the rest of them, but right along with Petrol Power, and then on the weekend again, you know that you've got a little bit to work with there with your youngsters?
Yeah, I always only buy 5 or 6 every year, and I reckon I've got 3 that'll work their way through to Open Company. The only 3 I've sort of trialled, and 2 of them have raced, so yeah, some nice horses there.
Petrol Power are always advantageous when they can win first up, knowing that we've got big races in the autumn. Then you can just throw them out whenever. If need be, go around again, do whatever you want with them.
Yeah, well, he's qualified for the Magic Millions in Karrakatta, so now I can just plan him to come in sort of a little bit before then, and he'll be very competitive.
Well, has he grown a little since that win? Obviously, it's been a relatively short space of time, but that's the real luxury, isn't it? Once you get that win on the board, you can basically watch them mature and grow a little bit, while some of their rivals are having to go out there and try and put some runs on the board.
Yeah, he's done really well on the paddock. He's sort of thickening up as each week goes by, and I think he'll be a bigger, stronger horse when he comes back.
Is he spelling out at Bullsbrook?
He spell all the good horses. Stay at home.
Keep an eye on them.
Keep an eye on them.
Now, Jimmy, this time of year we would expect yourself and Barakey to be stealing the headlines from a Taylor perspective, but it's been the daughter that's been grabbing a few headlines of her own over the last week or so.
Yeah, no, lucky. Everyone says she's got my looks. I don't know.
Is Tina listening in?
Probably.
You're in trouble.
She's in a WA Miss Universe. She got into the final, and I think it's in December, the next heat. So, she's probably looks more like a mother than me, but that's...
Nothing wrong with that, and I believe she will have some sort of role here on Saturday as well. I think she's going to be helping out with some of the fashions on the field as well, so she's stepping out to that next level. Has she got a bit of a future in the media, do you think?
That's what she's studying, media and commerce and law, and she's obviously got my brain. She's doing all what I could have done. She's helping out on Saturday here, and actually Channel 9 are waiting at the moment to do an interview with her down at the stalls.
Francesca at the West.
You never know. Yeah.
Well, if she needs a bit of work experience, she can follow me around for a month or so.
No worries.
I think that's what's commonly known as letting one through to the keeper, Wes. Nice work, Jimmy. Well, look, we know that it's going to be a sensational day here on Saturday. Barakey may well be the star of the show here locally. So many fans in the West, and it's his time to shine, in my opinion. On the national stage, we've got so many horses here from the East Coast. Everybody's going to be watching Super Saturday on Ascot, and let's hope that Barakey can make it 11 straight for you.
Let's hope so.
Good luck, Jimmy. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Good luck on Saturday. Jim Taylor, trainer of Barakey, joining us this morning here on the Big Breakfast on Racing Radio.